So with that, let's go ahead and meet David. He is based out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's currently the product manager for ORC's integration practice. He's worked in the enterprise architecture, product management, methodology, best practices, and development for over 18 years, so he has a vast knowledge. He enjoys sailing and scuba diving, and one day he hopes to sail off into the sunset. So with that, David, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Morgan. I appreciate the introduction, and I appreciate everyone's time today. Hopefully, I can answer your questions about our JIRA Bridge. I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. Okay, Morgan, can you see my slide?
Yep.
Okay, great. So I'll just get started. I'm going to do just a few slides, a little background on ORC as a company and the JIRA Bridge, talk a little bit about the deployment architecture just to orient everyone, and then we'll do a live demonstration. So ORC was founded in 2002. The previous company that the founders started actually was acquired by Starbase and then later Borland. So this team was actually the original creators of Calibre RM, so if anyone's familiar with that product. So we have a pretty deep experience and knowledge and development. So we were the first Mercury partner back before HP actually acquired Mercury, and we're a platinum partner currently. We have over 1,300 customers in all different areas of industry. Our consultants hold more certifications than any other HP partner. We are focused on the full lifecycle development and quality management across the entire lifecycle. Actually, the JIRA Bridge came out of some work that we did for one of our larger enterprise accounts. They wanted to integrate Quality Center to JIRA, so we did that for them. And then we saw JIRA cropping up in a lot of our other customer accounts, so we decided to actually productize the integration. We actually won an award from HP last year for the Support Partner of the Year. HP allows certain enterprise platinum partners to provide support for HP products, and that's level 1 support. And we were pretty proud to win that award. We have a number of customers that are using our support for HP products that we sell. The benefit to you as JIRA Bridge customers would be that we actually use that support center to support our internally developed products as well. So it's a full enterprise scale support center that we can take advantage of. I want to talk just a little bit about kind of what we feel the value is. The JIRA Bridge obviously integrates Quality Center and JIRA. It seamlessly allows information flow between the two systems. And the benefit of that individually for our team member is that they get to use the tool that they want to use, and that supports their activities on a daily basis. We see a lot of benefit in that for the individual. And from a program management standpoint, we feel like it allows visibility of the entire life cycle of a project, both across development-centric organizations as well as the quality organization. Many times those are divided into two separate organizations, and we get a good ability to provide metrics to be able to manage the full life cycle. Just a little background on the JIRA Bridge. This is our second release. Obviously integrates Quality Center to JIRA. It is based on a platform from HP called the Quality Center Synchronizer. That's version 1.3 for anyone that already has that. It is an enterprise class integration platform from Hewlett-Packard. The biggest benefit both to ORC as the developers of the integration and to customers is that it provides forward compatibility. HP has committed to releasing the Quality Center Synchronizer in lockstep with new releases of Quality Center. The benefit is they completely encapsulate the integration touch points between Quality Center and the Synchronizer platform, so there are no upgrade issues. The bridge and the Quality Center Synchronizer supports Quality Center versions 9.0, 9.2, and 10.0, and we, with the JIRA Bridge, support as far back as 3.1.1 and later all the way to 3.13, the latest on 3, and then also JIRA version 4. Just some high-level feature overview. It is bi-directional, so we support the creation of issues from defects and vice versa. It does have a nice graphical configuration utility, which supports field mappings, data value translations, and an example of that would be, when you're doing your status mappings or any other multi-value list mappings, you can do a data translation between the two systems. So status of open in Quality Center would map to a status of new in JIRA. We do support full document attachment. So if you attach a document, a screenshot, or some artifact, some test artifact in Quality Center, we support creating that over in JIRA, pushing that to JIRA, and then vice versa. If JIRA, you attach a document in JIRA, that will flow through to Quality Center. Given that Quality Center and JIRA support customization of workflows, both are very customizable products. We spend a lot of time in the development process for the product, making sure that we support all of the workflow rules. And the platform and the JIRA Bridge does support enterprise-level logging and notification. So if there's any errors or anything like that, you'd be notified via an email. And each integration run actually is logged separately, and there's a viewer to be able to go back and look at what's actually going on. So just a little overview of the deployment architecture. We have Quality Center Synchronizer server in the middle, Quality Center up at the top right, and JIRA, in this case, down at the bottom right. The Synchronizer can be deployed to a physical server. It's a Windows server, Windows XP or Windows 2003 server. And then the Quality Center Synchronizer actually provides the administration console that's on the left, and that can be installed on any administration machine, or administrator's machine rather, so that you can actually go and configure the rules and look at audits and things like that. It's actually, this Quality Center Synchronizer client is not actually used in runtime. It's just used to configure the rules. A little deeper view of the Synchronizer architecture so you can understand what we provide versus what HP provides. The JIRA adapter at the top is actually what ORC is delivering. That plugs into the Synchronizer framework and allows the Synchronizer server platform to be able to talk to JIRA. And we also provide a JIRA plugin as well to communicate with JIRA. The Quality Center adapter down at the bottom is what HP is providing, and it talks to the Quality Center API. This is actually how HP is able to encapsulate all of the communication with Quality Center. And you may or may not know that Quality Center is moving away from the COM-based API this year and moving to a RESTful web service interface. And so there'll be no impact on our integration as a result of that. Just a little bit of process view before we jump into the demo. This is actually the out-of-the-box Quality Center process flow, or workflow rather, and the JIRA workflow as well. And these are both just out-of-the-box workflows that JIRA and Quality Center ship with. And I'll be demonstrating this today. So we're going to see, we're going to simulate a QA analyst creating a new defect in Quality Center. I'm going to run the integration manually. It normally runs on a poll interval of 5 minutes, so it's the minimum. So I'm going to be running that manually for us today so we don't have to wait 5 minutes. And then that's going to create an open JIRA issue. I'm going to simulate being a developer and progress that to in progress. I'm going to resolve it. And typically you want your QA organization to be the one to actually verify that it was indeed resolved and set that to fixed, which it will be fixed, and then we'll set to closed, and then that will be pushed over to JIRA as a closed issue. So again, this is just the out-of-the-box workflow, but we support whatever custom workflows you have. And just one little bit of information on the project-to-project relationships. This is something I typically talk to customers about. Each customer may have a little different process that they're trying to follow. So we support being able to map one QC project to one JIRA project. That's a straightforward and simple relationship. But many customers have Quality Center defined as kind of the more customer-facing or product view of a project. And then JIRA would have actually a little more development-centric view, or maybe a little bit more decomposed into different projects. Maybe they're based on components of a solution, or what have you, but we tend to see the need for being able to map one QC project to many JIRA projects, and I'll actually describe that a little bit more in detail. Okay. So here I'm in Quality Center. I'm just going to create a new defect. So webinar defect. I'm going to assign it to my test project. This is actually, I have this configured in a one-to-many relationship, one QC project with multiple sub-projects here, mapping to multiple projects over in JIRA. So I'm actually just going to assign that to the test project, and that's the JIRA project key that would be passed over. Just going to assign the severity here of high. I'm going to assign it to myself, but for the JIRA users on the phone, we do support the automatic issue assignment both at the project lead level as well as the component lead level. So if you had assigned a component here in Quality Center, it would apply the JIRA rules that JIRA normally would apply, so we don't interfere with any of the automatic assignment that takes place in JIRA. So I've created, it's my defect here, it's defect 267. That's here. Now I'm actually going to go over and run this manually. I'm in the console now, but again, this is running on a poll interval typically when you're in production of 5 minutes or greater. So it's going to go connect to both endpoints, it's going to find that record, and then it's going to push it over to JIRA, and then it passed and disconnected. So I'm just going to jump into JIRA now and do a retrieve of the issues in that test project, and here we see the new webinar defect. I'm just going to start progress here, and then this is typically the least interesting bit of the demo. I'll actually just go and progress this through the different various workflow stages. And it's connecting to both endpoints, finding the JIRA change now, and pushing it over to Quality Center. I'll just retrieve Quality Center here. And here we see that the status is open. I'll just go back into JIRA and resolve the issue. Hopefully our developers are putting a little better resolution comments in than that, but for the demo, the issue resolved. Now that status is resolved, I'll go run the incremental synchronization again. And it'll push that change back into Quality Center. We should see this fixed now. So that is now fixed, and as the Quality Center person, the QA person, I'll actually close it and finish out the life cycle of that defect, and it should close over in JIRA. Now it's closed and the resolution is fixed. One thing that I can show is attaching a defect or a comment. So I'm attaching a document now to my Quality Center defect. And I'll just run manually run the integration again. Here we see the file was pushed over to JIRA. And this is bidirectional. Anything that is attached to JIRA would also flow over to Quality Center. So that's the kind of basic workflow in a nutshell. It's probably worth talking through a couple of features of the integration platform here. Here we have a series of links. Each link is defined as a connection between two endpoints. An endpoint would be Quality Center project, Here I'm connecting to my domain integrations, a JIRA demo project, and it just uses HTTP or HTTPS to connect to Quality Center, and the same for JIRA. I'm actually pulling all of the defects out of this particular Quality Center project, and I'm pushing them into my test project and my test B project. Here's I have one Quality Center project related to multiple JIRA projects, and we use the sub-project attribute in Quality Center to be able to marshal those into different projects in JIRA. Project here, test. So again, it uses the HTTP or HTTPS to be able to connect to each project, and you can have a login to each product, the Quality Center or to JIRA. Here is the field mapping tab. Each system, Quality Center defect schema is here. This shows the various required fields indicated by a red flag, recommended fields, which are fields that are not required but may become required as a part of workflow in Quality Center, and then blue are the optional fields. We have the same thing over in JIRA. So this is a nice graphical way to be able to map fields together. You just select each schema, a value in each schema, and click the Map Selected Fields button. Here's a set of mappings that I've already defined for between Quality Center and JIRA for this particular project. Attachments is bidirectionally replicated between JIRA and Quality Center, and that's indicated by the bidirectional arrow here. Defect ID is a system-generated field in Quality Center, and that's unidirectionally mapped to a custom field that we have in JIRA, and that's indicated a one-way integration by the one arrow here. This is just a custom field that we created in JIRA that's used just for informational purposes only. The JIRA Bridge maintains unique IDs for each one of the issues or defects that it's synchronizing, so we're not really using this to process anything. It's just for human beings and to be able to refer to it for information purposes. And we have the same thing here for JIRA key. The key in JIRA is one-way mapped to a custom field in Quality Center, and that's for the same informational purposes. We have a various set of project mappings here. One that is uniquely important is the status mapping. Status is mapped bidirectionally to status, and this kind of is what controls the workflow between the two products. Here is where we do the value translations. Fixed is mapped to resolve. Closed is mapped to close, new is mapped to open, and so forth. And then in each field is a value called dominant side, and this is used by the platform anytime there's a change that happens to the same record at the same time. There's a potential for a collision there, and at the field level we can specify which endpoint is the dominant side. So in this case, if both assigned to changed, in this case, Quality Center is the value that would be selected in the case of a conflict there. We also support full filters so that you can conditionally control the logic of what actually gets moved between Quality Center and JIRA. In this case, I'm selecting a public filter out of Quality Center for defects only, and I'm using a filter for bugs in JIRA. We see this actually providing a lot of flexibility for customers, and what we tried to do was create a set of tools that people could use and combine in different ways to be able to solve their problems that they were trying to solve with the product. So we weren't very rigid in our approach. We provided this set of tools to be able to let people do what they needed to do. And so this is just, if you define a filter in Quality Center as normally you would in Quality Center, the Synchronizer platform picks that up, and you can select that filter to be used. Same in JIRA, if you just define a filter and make it public, or actually make it a part of this user's sync admin's permissions, then that will show up here in the list, and you can actually select that. And the main benefit here is you don't have to move all of the defects or all of the issues. You can just move certain ones. So the way that the platform works is it actually pulls a delta that says, please give me everything that's changed since the last successful synchronization. And if you have a filter, then it applies that criteria as well and actually selects the potential changes. It is designed for performance, so it does a further CRC, or cycle redundancy check, on each record to make sure that it actually did change. And then it actually does the synchronization as it needs to. The scheduling tab is something that's important. As you noticed when I was going through the demonstration, I was running incremental synchronization manually. And that's fine to do for when you're setting things up and testing and for demos. But typically you'll enable scheduling and run an incremental synchronization every 5-minute poll interval. And full synchronizations, which handle deletions if you actually do deletions. Most companies don't. Or any kind of quality checking across both systems, any resolutions it needs to do. And that can be run once an hour. Typically people run it once a day, and it does its resolution. And then we have also, again, to conditionally allow different defects and issues to be pushed back and forth. There's a series of events here for creation, update, and deletion, and each one has its separate rule that you can apply. The way I have it set up here is for creations and updates. If there's a quality center defect created, then create a bug in the corresponding in JIRA, in the JIRA project. And then if we do updates, do the same update across the other system. So that's pretty much it. There is an ability to set up multiple links here, and you can actually define different work. Like if you have a project in JIRA that has a different workflow, you'll actually have a separate link here, and that runs on its own schedule. And you can have a separate set of field mapping. So if your schema is different, or if you have different workflow, or something like that, then you would have a separate link here. And we allow you to, one benefit of the platform is that it actually gives you the ability to export your configuration. So we recommend that people export, define things how they want it, and then export the field mappings and save those off in your configuration management system. And this just provides you a way to not have to spend as much effort doing the mappings. You can actually reuse the template. We recommend that people, if they have like projects, they define the common and the common attributes, and then save that off, and then reuse that template as they go forward and create new links. Okay, so Morgan, that's kind of it at a high level. I don't know if there's any questions that have come in so far. I can answer any questions that people might have.
Sure. Let me take the screen back. And yeah, if you guys listening out there have questions, please do chat them in at this time, and we'll go ahead and go through those questions. Let me go ahead and get this back. Okay, so there is a few questions that have come in. One of them, how often do you guys update the bridge? Is it after every JIRA release?
We tend to do it quarterly. We do provide update. We did provide an update after 4.0 was shipped, and we did that within a couple of weeks of when 4.0 shipped from Atlassian. But we're constantly adding new features, and I didn't really talk about it, but one of the opportunities that we have is the JIRA Bridge being based on the synchronizer, the Quality Center Synchronizer. The synchronizer does have its own data store. It runs with an embedded Postgres database, and so we're looking into being able to do reporting against that data store, and the main reason for that is that it's every poll interval, it pulls information from both systems, and which would actually give you a generated time series. So that's one of the main things we're kind of looking at going forward, is being able to do some nice metrics and reporting out of it. So for things like that, any new features that we have, we tend to release quarterly. And then for any new releases of either Quality Center or JIRA, we would have a release.
Okay. Does it matter which version of Quality Center you have, such as Enterprise or Premium?
No, it doesn't. We support, even the starter edition with Quality Center, and that supports 9.0, 9.2, and 10.0.
Okay. And here's one. Can you comment on the support for requirements object?
Right. Requirements are supported by the Quality Center Synchronizer. That's not in their current release, but that's planned for our spring release, so we have requirements as well. So that is supported by the platform. And when you actually create a new link in the Synchronizer, you specify which entity you want to use, and that's where you'd specify the requirements. And then we pull from Quality Center requirement schema and map that over to JIRA. We do currently support all of the various issue types in JIRA. So if there's a new feature issue type, if there's a task issue type, in any of the issue types in JIRA we support, and there's a connection parameter where we allow you to specify the issue type ID. So if I were to specify 2 in that connection parameter, then it would move things into the new feature type. And so actually, you took control back, so I can't show it, but I have a link defined to another project where I have a filter defined in Quality Center for enhancements that are actually in the same defect entity in Quality Center for enhancements. That's just a field. And we pull that and put that into the new features types in JIRA. So
okay.
First class requirement entity is coming in kind of the March timeframe, but we already support all of the different issue types in JIRA.
Okay. And here's one off of that. For multiple Quality Center projects having different map requirements, how many connections or Quality Center licenses will be used?
One per, it only uses the license for the amount of time that it's logged in. So if it connects, you saw how long it took to connect. It is built for performance, so it would consume that one license per link for the duration of the synchronization interval. So if you run it every 5 minutes, it might connect for 30 seconds to do the synchronization, and it would do that for each link, each Quality Center instance that you were connecting to. So it would just consume one license for the duration of the synchronization event.
Okay. And here's one that came in. When is the COM-based API from HP, will it be updated? You think, you said this year, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would actually have already come out. I'm expecting that in the first half of this year. But what I can do is, I know you post this to your site, Morgan. I can actually have that answer for you. I can contact HP Product Management, which we're really close with, and just find out what the plan is for that. We were being told that it would be in the first part of this year, like even in the January through March timeframe. But I haven't seen anything more on that, so I can double check on that for you.
Okay. And a question came in: was a new license used to do the demo and PSO?
A new license. The PSO URL that you saw in the demo is actually just our professional services QC instance. That's connected, what we connect to for ORC internal use. That just consumed a license for the amount of time that we were actually doing the synchronization. So you saw me click on Run Incremental Sync, and it disconnected within a few seconds. So it just consumed that license for that duration.
Yeah. Okay. And a few people have chatted in. Can you discuss the licensing requirements and approximate costs of the JIRA Bridge?
Yeah, so for cost, I'll just refer people to our website or just request information and we can get that to them. We do have 2 tiered models. We have one, what we call professional version, and that's for JIRA users up to 50. And there's no usage requirement or metric on the Quality Center side. So for JIRA users up to 50, it's a professional license. And then for over 50 is our enterprise license, and we have a separate price for that. So we're just trying to tier the pricing to allow smaller companies to be able to have smaller requirements to be able to use it as well. But I'd refer people to a website for that.
Okay. And does the bridge support JIRA hosted application on client Quality Center hosted application?
It does, and we have a customer that's using a SaaS Quality Center and I don't think they use hosted JIRA, but it would work just fine. You typically would run the synchronizer at your on-premises for your company, and it can connect via VPN or public internet, depending on how that QC or JIRA application was hosted, and would just use HTTPS most likely to be able to connect. So yeah, that's no problem at all. But we actually have a few customers that operate between themselves and a vendor. So there's a large airline in Europe that has a software vendor that's in Sweden, and the airline's in Germany, and they run the synchronizer in Germany and synchronize across the trading partner via VPN and synchronize between those two. So the QC is in Germany and at the airline, and JIRA is running in Sweden at the vendor.
Okay.
So yeah, it's no problem. Just use this standard HTTP or HTTPS.
All right. A question came in. Are there any plans to synchronize requirements?
Yes, in our March release, we're anticipating rolling that out. We've already got that in testing, and I can even demo that to people offline if they have a request for that. Most of our customers, we see the vast majority looking for defects only, but requirements, as the Quality Center adds better support for requirements if they have in 10.0, we see customers looking at that down the road as well. So we're adjusting to that and working with our existing customers to get requirements on that. So yes, we will support requirements going forward, probably in the spring timeframe.
Okay. And here's a question that came in. Can the JIRA product be purchased for only issue management of Quality Center defects, since they already have a project management workflow application? So
More like a question for you.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, you could purchase JIRA. I mean, the cost is up there on our site. As always, we're very open with that. But there's no sort of dumbed-down version of JIRA for that, just that purpose.
But you could use security and various things to only support issues, right? Only present issues to users. So, I mean, in effect, yes, you could.
Yeah. All right, and then here's one. Are there any known issues coexisting with other JIRA plugins like Greenhopper?
No, and a lot of our customers, especially after the acquisition of Greenhopper last year, use Greenhopper. It's very widely deployed in our customer base, and there's no issues that we've encountered with that particular plugin or any other plugin that we see out there.
Excellent. And there was a few questions on if people could get copies of the slides or this presentation. And I should have mentioned, yeah, at the beginning, all of the webinars that we do are recorded, and I should get it edited and posted today. And I'll show you guys the link after a few slides here. So just hang tight on that one. And I guess that will wrap up our questions. So, sorry guys. So anyways, David, I wanted to thank you. People out there listening, you can contact me directly at webinars@atlassian.com, and you can contact David at david.brown@oracy.com. And as I just said, these webinars are being recorded, and this one will be posted to atlassian.com/TV, and I should get that up, as I said, probably later today, this afternoon.
Thanks very much, Morgan, and everyone else for attending. I really appreciate it, and I hope to hear from you all soon.
Yeah, definitely. And just a quick plug for some upcoming webinars for people that are interested. Tomorrow we're having a Voice of the Customer webinar, and it's about developing for the vxvista.org, and this company used a lot of the Atlassian suite as well as help from Customware. So be sure to check that out. And on the 18th of February, we have another plugin of the month, and it's the content import plugin for Confluence. And there's a link there at the bottom where you guys can check out all of the upcoming events. And speaking of events, our biggest event of the year is coming up. That's June 9th to the 11th, and it's our second annual Atlassian Summit. So currently, early bird pricing is up, and that'll be good until the 15th of April of 2010. Just go ahead and visit summit.atlassian.com to check that out. So with that, David, yeah, thank you very much for the time for presenting. I think it was a great presentation, and for everyone that was out there listening, I am going to post the recording today. So any last comments, David?
No, I just wanted to thank everyone again, and thank you, Morgan. I really appreciate it. It was a very smooth process, and maybe we can do another one after we release our next release in the spring.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's be in touch.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, everybody. Bye.